What's up, cyber friends? Kyser here. In this video, I'm going to tell you how I passed the OSCP exam on my first try. Now, before you start congratulating me, I do want to make it clear that the OSCP exam is not a new achievement for me. I actually passed the exam about 6 months ago. Even though it's not a new achievement, it is my latest certification exam pass that I've achieved. It's still pretty fresh in my memory, and I just wanted to make this video before that freshness left, and because this topic is actually pretty popular, because I made a blog post on writing about my experience with the OSCP exam from start to finish. It was actually my most popular blog post. I actually get asked how to pass OSCP on a fairly regular basis. I wanted to make this video to reach a broader audience and maybe explain how I passed the OSCP exam in a different format to help those who are trying to pass the exam themselves. If you're unfamiliar with OSCP, OSCP stands for OffenSec Certified Professional, and it's offered by OffenSec, formerly known as Offensivesecurity, who is the makers of the popular hacker Linux distribution, Kali Linux. It's been the gold standard for quite a bit of time now. Definitely the #1 certification for penetration testing jobs on the market right now, and I don't see it changing anytime soon, although there are some certifications that are coming out that look like it can give the OSCP a run for its money, but as it stands right now at the time of this video, it is the gold standard, and I don't see it not being the gold standard for at least a handful of years. It's a standard in the industry, and it's highly respected, and not just in the hacking space and penetration testing space, in all of cybersecurity, because it gets a lot of respect for not being a multiple choice exam, because the way you pass the exam is there's 6 machines, and you have to hack into 3 or 4 of them, depending on what scenario you take and if you have bonus points or not. But more than likely, you'll need to get at least 4 of them to pass the exam. So you need to hack 4 out of 6 machines to pass, and then you need to write a full penetration testing report. And you get 24 hours, technically 23 hours and 45 minutes, but for the sake of simplicity, we'll say 24 hours to do the exam, and then you get another 24 hours to write and submit your report, and then you are graded based on your report and how you've written it. It's not so in penetration testing, it's not all about hacking, so you do have to break into the networks and break into the systems, but you also need to effectively communicate how you did that, what the vulnerabilities are, and remediation efforts to resolve those vulnerabilities, so your client can actually take that and do something with it and actually secure their network. So that's what ethical hacking is in a nutshell. OSCP, it's incredibly difficult. It's by far not an easy one, and which is why it's the gold standard and why it's so highly respected, because it is one of the most challenging certifications you can achieve. So what did I do before starting the OSCP course? So before I started the course, I wanted to get as much hands-on and practical skills and knowledge as I could before starting the course, because I knew the OSCP was going to be extremely challenging. I knew penetration testing and ethical hacking was going to be a walk in the park. So I really spent a long time on the fundamentals, and I think spending a long time on the fundamentals really helped me get the OSCP pass on my first try. And when I say a long time, I'm saying 3 years. I spent about 3 years gaining skills before I even took the OSCP course. So a lot of the stuff that I didn't really go into like OSCP and ethical hacking skills. For example, the CISSP, great certification, super respected in our industry. However, it doesn't really help you get OSCP certified. Same thing with my college degree, super beneficial for my career. However, my college degree in cybersecurity management and policy didn't teach me how to hack. So in this section of the video, I really want to focus on what I actually did to get to the level of being OSCP certified and passing on my first try. So the first thing I would say that contributed to it, the first major thing, was Security Plus. I think the Security Plus by CompTIA is the best entry-level certification in our industry. It doesn't matter what role you are going into in cybersecurity. I think Security Plus is the best starting point and I always recommend it. I had a great time with that certification, so yeah, get Security Plus. If you are brand new and you don't know where to start, I would start there, and that goes for anybody in any role in cybersecurity, not just ethical hackers and penetration testers. And then after Security Plus, I got Linux Plus. So you have to know Linux to be a hacker. You have to know Linux to pass OSCP. So my preferred way to do that was through the Linux Plus. There are probably a million different ways to learn Linux. I chose to do the CompTIA Linux Plus route because I had a positive experience with the CompTIA Security Plus, and I just decided to get Linux Plus. So that's my preferred and recommended way. However, if you want to learn Linux a different way, by all means do it. There's a million different ways to learn it, and my advice is to choose the way that you learn the best as far as Linux goes. And then you want to learn networking. So for me, I did the CCNA, the Cisco Certified Network Associate. That certification is a way overkill for the amount of networking knowledge you need for the OSCP. So what I would recommend is getting the CompTIA Network Plus, which is actually a tier under the Security Plus. So shouldn't be too hard to achieve. I would say the Network Plus is like an entry-level certification for all of IT. So and it is a good networking certification. I highly recommend it. So if you don't know networking, that's where I would point you to. CCNA, by all means, if you want to go grab it, go get it. It's the number one. It's a gold standard in networking certifications. However, it's a little overkill for OSCP and ethical hacking. You don't need to know how to configure Cisco routers and switches. You just need to know what a switch and a router does, and you know how they work together. And then after networking, I learned Python. So you need to be somewhat familiar with scripting and programming. Python is the number one most used language in cybersecurity, and perhaps all of programming, if I'm not mistaken. But Python is a good programming language to start with. That's what I started with. I had no programming skills, a few years ago, and I decided to learn Python. And there's a bunch of ways to learn Python. So pick a learning path that you want to go down and just learn how to code. It doesn't have to be Python, but Python is probably the most prevalent language in hacking and cybersecurity right now. So that's what I would recommend. If you're curious on what I did for learning Python, check out my blog at kyserclerk.com. It's under like 100 days of code. I did a whole write-up every single day, and then I have like a summary of what I did and like what courses I took, what books I read. You don't need to be a developer by any means, but you definitely want to be able to script some things out as you progress through your pen testing career. And then after Python, that's about somewhere in the middle of my 100 days of code, I started doing TryHackMe. This TryHackMe is a great platform. Highly recommend it. I started with the easy stuff on TryHackMe. A lot of it was like refresh because I already had like Linux Plus and Network Plus and Security Plus. So a lot of the earlier modules was like a review for me. But when I say I spent a lot of time on fundamentals, I really mean it. Like I sat there and I did those easier modules anyways because maybe it said something and that I didn't know before. So I still learned a little bit, even though a lot of it was a refresher. So even if it seems like a refresher to you, going back to the fundamentals never hurts. So definitely go to TryHackMe, and as you go at the TryHackMe ladder, there's harder modules. You're going to start learning like how to actually hack, and you're going to learn some real techniques that 100% go into the skills it takes to pass the OSCP. TryHackMe was like a continuous thing for me. I actually got the 365-day streak badge. I did it every single day, and I just built my skills over time. And you'll be surprised on what an hour a day does in the long run. It doesn't feel like you make progress in the short term, but over a course of a year, you learn a lot. So definitely check out TryHackMe. Certified Ethical Hacker CEH from EC Council. It's an alright certification. It's way overpriced. I'll put it that. It's not bad. It's not as bad as people make it out to be. It is all multiple choice, so it isn't hands-on. It doesn't make you a hacker by any means, but it does give you exposure to terms, technologies, and familiarity with some tools. It was good, but I wouldn't recommend it because it's extremely expensive. It's like $1,200. I would much rather recommend the CompTIA Pentest Plus, which is equivalent in skills for like a fourth of the price. So Pentest Plus is like the next level after CompTIA's Security Plus, and it focuses on penetration testing and It's similar to the CEH, but honestly, I think it's just a better certification overall because it's not all multiple choice. It does have hands-on performance-based questions that are multiple choice. So in that aspect, it's good. And then it also covers like aspects of penetration testing that not even the OSCP covers, which is like ethics and like how to deal with clients and stuff like that. So Pentest Plus, really good certification to get your feet wet in penetration testing. And then after that, which is probably the biggest contributor to my success for the OSCP, was the EJPT. EJPT, that formerly was eLearn Security, now it's INE Security. So the INE Security Junior Penetration Tester, EJPT. And it's exactly what it is. It's a certification for junior pen testers. Now, I don't think that certification is going to land you a job, and I don't think it's going to make you a rock star on day one, because it is the best way I can put it. It's a baby OSCP. It's really what it is. It's an easier OSCP. It's not easy by any means. It's significantly harder than Pentest Plus and like Sec Plus and all that, because it's a hands-on. You actually do have to hack into things. It does have some multiple choice questions, but you can't answer those multiple choice questions unless you hack into something. It has fill in the blank questions that, once again, you can't get those answers until you actually hack into something. And then it has like submit file hashes or flags, which once again you can't get unless you hack into something. So it's a very hands-on, practical exam. You can't pass that exam by reading a book and answering some practice questions, because it is 100% hands-on. And honestly, in my opinion, probably the best thing you can do before OSCP, before you enter the course, because it truly teaches you the fundamentals, and you can really go in the OSCP course running. Now let's talk about how I tackled the OSCP course. So the PWK, which stands for Penetration Testing with Kali Linux, Pen 200 course, that is the standard course that you purchase to become OSCP certified. So just a fun fact, I guess, is you don't actually pay for a OSCP exam voucher. You pay for the course, and then the course comes with a free exam take. So the course is really what you pay for when you pursue the OSCP, which is why I highly recommend it. Some people don't use this course to prepare for the OSCP. They use other things like Hack-to-Box, Try Hack Me, and other certifications and VulnHub. However, I decided to go with the course because I figured, if the course is by OffSec and OffSec is putting on the exam, there's no way that I felt like they are truly the ones to teach me the skills that they want for that exam, because other training methods might not cover exam topics the way that OffSec wants you to know them. So that's why I decided to do the course. Another reason why I decided to do this course is because if you do 80% of the exercises and all the modules, you get 10 bonus points. I really wanted those 10 bonus points because I knew the OSCP exam was going to be extremely challenging, and I wanted to go in with as much of an advantage as I possibly could before going into the OSCP exam. And a spoiler alert, I needed those 10 bonus points to pass. We'll get into that later, but yeah, those bonus points, those 10 bonus points were super clutch for me, and that's why I highly recommend doing 100% of the exercises. You only need to do 80% for each module to get the bonus points, but you might as well just do 100% in all of them, because those exercises are hands-on, practical exercises that directly translate into the skills that you're going to be using in the OSCP Challenge Labs and in the OSCP exam itself. So the way I did the course was, so the course is broken into pretty much 3 categories. So you got videos, you have the book, which is like a PDF, and then you have the exercises. So I watched every single video from start to finish, and some of them I watched multiple times because some of the concepts were a little challenging, or maybe I dozed off and fell asleep during one of them and I had to rewind and watch it. So I watched a handful of them, probably most of them more than one time, and then I didn't read any of the PDF unless I got to a topic exercise that I was really struggling with. And if I was struggling with it and I watched the video a couple times and I still wasn't getting it, then I would go in and dive deep into the text. So I didn't really read the text unless I was really struggling with a concept, but overall I felt like I didn't read a whole lot. Most of my learning came from the videos, the exercises themselves, and then if I got too stuck on exercise after reading it on the PDF, and I still wasn't getting it, I would turn to the OffenSec Discord. So if you're not familiar, OffenSec has a Discord where they have a special channel for Pen 200 students, and if you're a verified Pen 200 student, you can get in this channel and you can talk about the exercises. You can ask the student mentors questions and they can point you in the right directions. Now, they will never give you the answer, which is what makes this learning method quite challenging but very rewarding, because they only hit you towards the answer. They help you find the answer for yourself. They don't give you the answers. It makes it harder, but in the long run, it makes you a better hacker. It makes you a better penetration tester, and it makes you more likely to succeed in the exam. A lot of people don't like the try harder mantra. I personally love it. I think progress can be slow at times in the OSCP course, but don't get discouraged. It is designed that way, and if you try to rush through the course, then you're not gonna find success. So I would recommend taking your time through the course, really understand what's going on, and do the exercises, watch the videos, and try not to rush it. It does take time, but it will pay off in the long run. So after you complete the course, you're going to want to go to the challenge labs, and the way the challenge labs are set up, there's basically 3 networks, and they simulate real networks, and they're all joined on an Active Directory domain, and really helps you with your pivoting skills for the actual AD set in the OSCP labs, which is why I like the new labs compared to the old labs. So fun fact is, I was actually halfway through the Pen 200 course when they got rid of the 2022 labs and they brought out the 2023 labs. I had 13 machines from the 2022 labs, and those carried over to my total for all of the machines compromised, because I forgot to mention, for the bonus points, you have to do that 80% of the exercises in all the modules, but you also have to compromise at least 40 machines in the labs as well. So I had 13 from the 2022 labs, and I had 27 machines in the three networks, and they all simulate a real world network pretty well, and they all range in size. I think the networks are anywhere between, I want to say 10 to 25 machines each. They all vary in size. They're all on the same size, but they're like 10 to 25 machines each, and they're just overall fun learning experience, and it's a great learning experience. And then also in the challenge labs is you have 3 mock OSCP exams, which these are the best practice you can get for the OSCP, and they call them mock exams for a reason. Like, it simulates a OSCP exam very well, and I would definitely recommend doing all 3 of them before going into the real exam. With those three networks, I actually only compromised 1 network fully, and then network number 2 I did like a handful of machines, and then network number 3 I never touched because I was running out of time, and I wanted to focus on those mock OSCP exams before I took the real exam. And like I said, I had 13 legacy machines already, so I felt I compromised enough machines to really practice on the mock exams. And then the mock exams, the way I handled it was I treated them like regular exams. So I requested a day off of work, treated those exams exactly like I would the real exam, just to get full practice before the real exam, and ended up failing mock exam number 1. I compromised a couple machines by myself, but overall came up short, and then I ended up finishing the rest of the mock exam like the next day with some Discord help. Same thing with mock exam number 2, came up short, did some things by myself, but for the most part came up short. And then the next day, and the next couple of days actually, I had to go to the Discord and seek assistance and finish up those machines that way. And then when it came to mock exam number 3, I actually took mock exam number 3 2 days before my real exam. So at this point, like, I didn't really have a lot of confidence because I failed 2 mock exams already. But with mock exam number 3, I actually ended up passing because all those failures, I learned from them, and failure teaches you a lot. So it's definitely okay to fail in these environments. And definitely in the challenge labs, you're going to get stuck. There's no doubt about it. Definitely try as hard as you can. yourself. But you know, if you get stuck for more than 2 hours, go and see the Discord and seek out assistance, and they can help you out. Before going into challenge labs, I told myself like, yo, I'm not gonna get any help because I want to try harder and I want to, you know, be a better hacker because I know trying hard makes you a better hacker, which is true. But some people on Discord told me that was a bad idea, and thankfully they told me that. I listened to them because, you know, here hit against the wall so many times, like you're never gonna get better. So it's okay to seek assistance when you truly exhaust all your resources, but do not, you know, ask for help if you didn't first try yourself. So please try yourself first and then ask for help. But yeah, I passed mock exam number 3, and I was super excited because, you know, I actually compromised enough machines to pass. You know, if this was a real exam, I would have a certification. So I was super excited, and definitely turned the momentum and my confidence around going into the exam. So now it's time to talk about the exam, and I'm going to talk about it as much as I can without getting my certification revoked and banned from OffSec. So you can't, you know, explain too much because OffSec takes their exam integrity very seriously. So I can't give you all the details, but what I'm about to tell you, I've already said in my blog post, and I actually submitted my blog post to OffSec. I just emailed them like, hey, here's what I want to write about for my exam experience, and I want to know if this is okay to publish. And they literally they read it, which thank you OffSec if you're watching this. Thank you so much for reading it and give me the go ahead to post it. So I do have their blessing to say what I'm going to say. Just be careful if you do get an OffSec certification. Just be careful what you say to others, because you can't talk about like the fine details on the exam, because exam integrity by OffSec is taken very seriously. So be careful with talking about the exam. And I started really early, and you know, checking in wasn't a problem. I checked in as soon as I possibly could. The check-in process took longer than 15 minutes. They say it shouldn't take any more than 15 minutes. It took me longer than 15 minutes. I think a lot of it had to do with I had some issues because I have 3 monitors, and there were some issues getting all 3 of them like to show up, because the exam proctors, they see all monitors, and you can't have more than 4 monitors, by the way. So 4 is the limit. So if you have more than 4 monitors, unfortunately, you're gonna have to get rid of some of those to get down to 4. But yes, I had some issues with, because when they proctor you, like they're watching on your screens, and they're gonna scan your computer. You know, they take the exam and they take cheating very seriously. So that's another reason why the OSCP is extremely respected, because you know, you're being watched the entire time. So after I checked in, like I said, it was a little over 15 minutes, and I don't know why, because I felt like it wasn't too complicated with getting everything set up, but it was a little longer than 15 minutes, but not a big deal, because I didn't think 3 to 5 minutes, starting 3 to 5 minutes late was going to kill me in any way, especially since I had, you know, 24 hours to finish the exam. Ended up using like 17 and a half hours, and I got the last hash at like maybe 16 hours in, but I spent like maybe another hour and a half, like, you know, recreating my steps and getting screenshots, which I highly recommend you do if you have any extra time. You definitely want to compromise the machines more than once, because sometimes, you know, a way you compromise the machine, you know, might not work the next time, or maybe you accidentally did something that you thought you did, and the second time you try it doesn't work. So you want to make sure the way you attacked it works every single time, because you have to put that in the report, because the report has a step-by-step guide on how you compromise the machine. And if it doesn't work, I don't know if like when they grade it, if they actually follow your steps or not, but if your steps doesn't add up, then you're not going to pass, because your report steps aren't good. So it's critical that you understand the attack chain exactly. So I would highly recommend, like, for every single flag that you get, you want to capture it more than once if you can, if you have the time. So I spent probably a couple hours actually recreating my steps, grabbing more screenshots, and taking notes on exactly how I compromise every single flag, because I wanted to make sure my report was going to be good for when I came time to reporting. So My winning scenario, the way I did it, so I got 40 points from the AD set, and then I got 20 points from fully compromising a standalone machine, and then I got 10 points bonus, and that's how I ended up passing. So 2 standalone machines I didn't even get a foothold on. So if I didn't have the 10 bonus points, I might have spent less time recreating my steps, and maybe more time trying to get a foothold on one of those other machines. But since I already had 70 points, I didn't feel like, I was already at 17 hours, I was exhausted, and I was like, if you get 70 points, if you have 110 points, it doesn't matter, the certification's the same. So don't feel bad if you only get 70 points, because everybody gets the same certification at the end of the day. Although there is some bragging rights if you manage to get 110 points, so that's pretty cool. But in my opinion, if you only get 70, don't feel bad, because I definitely don't. I got a certification, so that was my scenario. And yeah, like I said, it took me like 17 hours. It was a long, grueling process, and I just was very meticulous with my notes and made sure that I had all the information I needed to write the report, all the screenshots and all of the output from the commands, and I had the hashes written down in my notes, because once you leave the exam environment, it's gone. Even if you leave the exam environment early, so let's say you put in 15 hours in the exam and you leave, yeah, you can't go back in the exam environment. Once you say, hey, I'm done with my exam, you're done. Now, that doesn't mean you can't take a break. So break and leaving is 2 different things. So like if you're in your exam and you want to go to the bathroom, fine. All you have to do is tell the proctor, hey, I'm going to take a break, or I'm leaving to take a break. And then you leave, and then you come back whenever you want, and then you come back and you tell the proctor, hey, I'm back, and then you resume. But you have to leave the exam environment open. But once you tell the proctor, like, hey, I'm done with my exam, like, you go through the shutdown process. It's not terribly complicated, I don't think, but once you go through that, you're not getting back in, because the proctors are done watching you at that point. So be careful with ending your exam early. Make sure you have everything you need. And speaking of breaks, don't be afraid to take breaks. So when it came to breaks, I drank a lot of coffee and a lot of water. So I had to go to the bathroom a lot, because I was very hydrated and very caffeinated. And so took a lot of breaks for that. My cat ended up throwing up like all over the floor right here for no reason, and it was like 7 different places he threw up on. So I ended up spending 20 minutes cleaning up his throw up. I went out and I let the dog out to go to the bathroom. I ate plenty of snacks. I ate dinner. I ate breakfast beforehand. So definitely, I would say overall, I had spent probably 1.5 to 2 hours not at my computer during that experience. So I said 17 hours, so I probably spent 15 hours on a computer, which is probably a lot longer than most people. But you only get it. You get 24 hours. I use the time. Maybe not have been the most efficient use of my time, but I sat there and I tried everything I could, and I was stuck for the longest time. I mean, the one of the machines. I spent 5 hours trying to figure out how to like escalate my privileges on this one machine, and eventually I got it. I didn't give up, because like I knew where the vulnerability was, but I didn't know how to exploit it, I guess is the best way to put it. And so I just kept trying. I kept failing, and eventually it clicked. And I'm like, I need to try this, and I tried this, and I truly did try harder, and I got it. So I literally passed because I tried harder, and I wanted to give up because I wasn't getting anywhere for the longest time, and it was a losing battle the whole time, because I didn't get my first flag until like I think 2 hours in, that seems alright. But then like the second one, man, I think I was like handful hours in, and then everyone after that, like I was spending well over 2 hours trying to get, and one of them was like, it took me 5 hours to get a flag, and I'm like I'm running out of time. And I really did almost run out of time, because at 17 hours, like, you're exhausted. Like, that's, I should be in bed by now. Like, I should have been sleeping. And yeah, I ended up, I started at like, I think 7 in the morning, I think. and then ended up going to bed at like 1 or 2 in the morning. And yeah, but after you get that, once I got past that one part that was super hard for me, um, I was off the races. And yeah, it was getting that final flag was such a rush. Like still to this day, like the biggest rush I've ever had. It's in terms of like an exam or even hacking. Like it was so thrilling. It was so fun. So I was so happy, and I was exhausted. Don't get me wrong, but I was so happy. I actually couldn't even fall asleep for like an hour after I went to bed because I just couldn't stop thinking about how awesome that was. You know, I had such a great time. So it was hard, it was challenging, and there was times where I wanted to give up, and there was times like pretty much the whole time I didn't think I was gonna pass. You know, I was taking the exam kind of early. Like I said, I didn't compromise every single challenge machine. So, but you know, after I got it, it was so rewarding. So it was such an rewarding experience, and I just really had a lot of fun with it. And yeah, man, I almost want to take it again, but I don't because you know, currently going through the OSCP course, so I know I'm gonna have to go through an even harder situation for the OSCP, which is like the OSCP on steroids. So yeah, looking forward to that. But hopefully I pass in the next month or so, and I can make a video about that. But yeah, the OSCP, man, so far my favorite exam, and so far my favorite learning experience. So I've already talked about the report a little bit, but this section of the video is going to be dedicated specifically to the report. So after I passed, obviously I already had all my notes and I had all my screenshots, and I was ready to write a really good report. And I was still in shock that I woke up. Yeah, I think I only slept like 4 hours because I was so excited that I passed. I woke up and I was like, I just like mentally celebrated my win. I'm like, I just passed OSCP. Like nothing has stopped me now. The only thing that's in my way is this report. And I was like, I already have all the proof. I know how I hack these machines. All I have to do is write about it and turn it in, and I'm good. And I ended up wasting like 2 hours of my day. I actually ended up calling my mom. I'm like, Mom, I passed the exam. Like, I gotta do is write the report now. And after I got off the phone with her, and I was like, how do I write this report? Because I've never written like a full-fledged report before. And I ended up watching some videos. There's some other YouTube videos on like how to write the report, and then you know, I downloaded the template, and then I'm like, okay, this isn't too bad. We'll just go through it step by step here. Yeah, it ended up taking me like 17 hours to write the report, and the reason why is because the template that OffSec has on their website is like, so in certain areas there's like double space, and then other areas there's like 1.5 space, and in other areas there's like 1.2 space. So like every single paragraph that I type, I had to reformat it to like be the correct line spacing. And I took a long time like making sure that all of my screenshots had captions, and all of my code had captions, and the headings were great, and they were all even with each other, because you want to make it look professional. So you don't want like like for example, like you don't want one heading to have like bold and the next heading, you know, not have bold, for example. So you want to make sure everything is unified across the whole report. And then on top of that, like you gotta make a table of contents. So you want to make the table of contents. And overall, like I use the exam template. Looking back at it, on my blog post, I recommend it. And I don't even really know how I feel about it. I think the report template that OffSec gives you is kind of bad. I think if I use a different template, it would take me way less time to write, because I spent the majority of that time writing my report went to formatting. And it was just extremely frustrating to get it to look the way I wanted to look with what I had. So, but now that I have it formatted good, then I can probably just reuse that for other reports. So I'll probably end up reusing that for when I take the OSCP exam, assuming that I pass it. I don't think it's worth writing a report if you don't pass, but it could be good practice, I guess. But yeah, so I ended up using Conda. If you're not familiar with Conda, he has like a couple videos on YouTube. I think it's been a while since he posted a video, but there's Conda, that's spelled C-O-N-D-A. He made a video on like how he does exam reports, and I basically did mimic like that strategy. Like basically what it comes down to is like, you know, what command did you run to see this? So like you spotted the vulnerability, how? So you ran this command, this command, this command, and you saw the vulnerability. Okay, now that you saw the vulnerability, you got the exploit from this website, and then with that exploit you modified it in this way, or you didn't modify it at all, or whatever the case is. And then you would say, you know, and then you're typing out how you did all this, and then you would put screenshots along the way. So you really have like a block of text, screenshot, block of text, code, and it's just, that's how it is done the whole report. And for each machine. Remember I was telling you how I had 2 machines that didn't compromise? Well, I ended up writing, you know, what I saw in those machines anyways, because I didn't know how comprehensive the report had to be. So I ended up writing about these 2 machines that I didn't compromise anyway to the best I could. And I actually ended up writing more about them because I wrote down every single thing about these machines. Whereas the other machines that compromised, I only focused on the parts that I actually took advantage of, whereas the ones I didn't exploit, like I wrote everything, because like I did find some, you know, interesting findings and some vulnerabilities, and I just wasn't I wasn't able to exploit them in the time, unfortunately. But I ended up writing a lot about them, and I spent a long time on that. You probably don't have to do that if you have machines that you didn't compromise. You probably don't have to write about them, but since I was right at 70 points, I didn't want to take any chances, because if there's anything wrong with your report, they can be like, yeah, we'll take away 10 points because your report was missing X, X, and X. And I didn't want that situation to be me, so I wanted my report to be as detailed as I possibly could, and make sure that like everything that I did was in the report. And ultimately the report ended up being 57 pages long. It's extremely long, but you know, I got the certification. I don't know if I spent too much time on it, or if I definitely spent too much time on it, but I don't know if I probably talked about some things I didn't need to talk about, because maybe some things were like kind of obvious. So I even pointed out like some of the obvious stuff, like I truly made it to where like a beginner level hacker can like follow the steps in compromise the machine, which is what they tell you. Like they basically, the way they explain it, OffSec, they meaning OffSec, they say a technically savvy user should be able to follow this guide and recreate your stuff. So I assume that the person reading it, you know, I'm not saying OffSec can't repeat the steps. I'm just saying like I wanted to make it in a way where like it was extremely obvious on what I did. You know what I mean? And so that's why I spent so much time on the report. I don't regret anything. I'm glad I spent the time on it. I learned a lot of things along the way with reporting. So yeah, overall, like you just want to make everything be uniform. Like you want your headings to be all the same, screenshots in there. You want make sure your screenshots have captions, and you want to make sure that you know what you did in the exam reflects in the report, because it needs to be like a step-by-step guide on how you pass the exam essentially, as well as some other stuff like a high-level exec summary, methodologies used, and stuff like that. So it's a really comprehensive report, and I treat it like a regular real pen test report, because even the ones I didn't compromise, I still wrote about those. Probably wasn't necessary, but I didn't want to risk it, because like I said, I couldn't afford to lose any points. So I really put a lot of time and effort into the report, because it was the only thing stopping me from the certification. So I was like, if I spend a lot of time now, you know, the last thing I wanted to do was take shortcuts on the report and then have OffSec tell me, hey, your report's not good enough, sorry, try again later. I didn't want to take the exam again, even though I had a lot of fun. You know, it was extremely challenging. I didn't want to take the exam again. I was like, I got the certification now. All I have to do is write a good report, and that's what I did. In conclusion, I would say the OSCP is the best certification to get if you want to land your first penetration testing job. It definitely helped me land my penetration testing internship that I'm currently undergoing right now. It opens a lot of doors for you, and I think it opens up more doors than any other certification. on the market right now. It might not give you the most up-to-date practical skills for on the job. However, a lot of the certifications that may be a little bit better than the OSCP in terms of technical skills are newer and less known, and they aren't on as many job postings. So in that regard, I think OSCP is still the gold standard because it will help you land interviews. It won't help you land a job because what lands you jobs is technical skills and soft skills, whereas certifications usually get you the interview. So there's probably some other certifications out there that probably equate to better real life skills. However, those certifications probably won't land you interviews, and you can't land a job unless you first get interviews. So OSCP is still the king, still the gold standard on the market right now. We'll see what happens in the next handful of years. There's tons of other certifications that are I've heard people say that claim to have better teach better skills and are more practical for real world engagements. But the OSCP as it stands right now is definitely the certification that's going to open the most doors in your penetration testing career. So for that reason, I highly recommend it. And as we wrap up here, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out. And hopefully you got some value out of this. This video was much longer than I anticipated, but I just wanted to get all the information out there as I could to fully help those who are wanting to pursue this certification. So hopefully it helped you out. If it did, give the video a like, and then so hit the subscribe button because we got more videos on the way. I will do more videos like this as I earn certifications and as I go through my career. I took a hiatus from YouTube, but I'm wanting to get back into it because I do like making content for the community because it does bring me a lot of joy to help other people follow my footsteps. So that's what this channel is going to be about. It's just going to be about me taking what I know and sharing it to you. And if that's interesting to you, hit the subscribe button. We got I also have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/KyserClark _cybersecurity, and that's where I'm going to be doing live streams. I'm trying to spin that back up too, and those are more for like hands-on hacking. So I like to do hack the box, like live demonstrations where you'll like see me on the terminal, and then I'll end up porting those to YouTube anyway. So if you miss those live streams, not a big deal. They're going to be here on YouTube. And then also I write blog posts on my blog at kyserclark.com, so check out that. And then I have another form of content that I'm currently undergoing that I'm trying to release in the next handful of months. So hopefully I can make an announcement on that soon, but stay tuned. I want to get back into making more content and making it consistent and more regular. So hopefully I see you around. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for your support, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. Till then, peace out, take care, have a good one. Kyser out.